Hey guys, we are back with part two of what should I call this? The Blue Table Talk. The Blue Table Talk with the Stugers. Um, yeah, so last time we didn't get to quite finish our conversation because there's a lot. Can you believe it? They actually thought they didn't have enough to talk about. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, especially with the amount of tragedy that uh, happened. We established the amount of people, so all my aunts, that passed three of breast, and the last two of ovarian. The last two were Auntie Debbie and my mom, Patsy. Right. Something that we wanted to clarify, make clear. These were not health reformers. We weren't educated as much. Not all of them. Were all of them Seventh Adventists, by the way?
No,
No, I don't believe so.
no, Angelo's. I think Angelo's not. I believe that's we. Shiva baptized. Okay. But practicing all their life, not. I think they grew up with the granny enforcing certain things, but
Mm.
because
Okay.
Well, granddad, I mean,
life
when you have these marriages that not both are and it's not the same opinion when it comes to religion. You know the struggle that you can face.
but it is
Yeah.
So all of them were not. I can't say they were all religious in some sense,
Yes.
but not all
They're not
practicing the
all God.
same religion.
yeah.
You put it in that way. They knew of God
Mhm.
because that's something that they got from home, but not all practicing. And definitely, when we're talking about practicing, not practicing the health principles, because to be honest, we, as I said earlier, we didn't start really practicing health principles only after my dad got sick, which was far later, and then it's when we started to get a bit more educated on this and the other. So we just wanted to clarify that, make that clear that indeed, it's not because they weren't doing the traditional route meant that they were doing the natural route. They were actually really doing nothing. They had a disease, they were diagnosed, and then they were at home, went to the doctor, and then a few got operated. As we mentioned last time, Auntie Carmen had some procedure that I'm not sure if she got operated. I'm for sure Auntie Debbie got
She
operated.
was in the States.
She had surgery and she was in the States. Indeed, so we know about that. And actually, right after the operation, Loretta was mentioning that last time things I went really quick with her and went downhill. And you spoke about how they cleaned her up because it was a lot of cutting that was done. So that was very sad. It was very painful. She didn't have any type of power to recoup or do any type of natural healing after that. Let's get back to mom because there's where we ended the last time. We were talking about St. Martin. So we know your wedding was there, and after the wedding, mom was really diagnosed. It was confirmed. We were dealing with the same cancer Auntie Debbie just succumbed to. What went through your mind? What went through your mind?
I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't wrap my brain around what was going on, to be honest, because at this point I'm a nurse and I'm working at OBGYN. And I mean, just not too long ago got married on the island. You think you're supposed to have this island life and it's just tragedy after tragedy. I just came back because I was in the States with Auntie Debbie for a period, and then so to me it's just a lot. And even looking back, it's so surreal that you're trying to wrap your brain around what is happening, but you're numb. You're just numb. You're just going through the motion, doing everything that was lined up to do, but there's just I was numb. And especially after hearing mommy's diagnosis, I was, it's like someone punched me in the chest,
Mm.
and I just couldn't recover, because I'm like, you know how it played out for the rest,
Mm.
and we know that her staging, what are you gonna do now? Because
What did they say about the staging? How far was she gone?
she was between 3 and 4 at that time,
Mm.
and they wanted her actually to go to Holland to get a better assessment, and to for them to actually make the final assessment, because there were some limitations in St. Martin.
Mm.
So they wanted her to go back to Holland to be able to see a specialist there, and to continue and to
Get
treatment. Yeah.
That was
Wow.
recommended.
By
How
the time
did-
she was there, by the time she was in Holland, it was already.
True. We'll get there, but I want to know first how it made you feel when you heard the diagnosis. Where were you? How did it make you feel?
Yeah. I was in Curacao still.
Not
Preparing
pregnant,
to either just delivered or on the way to. Well, preparing to come over for Loretta's wedding.
Mm.
Yeah, so when I learned about that diagnosis, and yes, it was a tough one,
Mm.
because I can remember having a conversation with mom, um, and um, her kind of asking if I think, if that was before she got the diagnosis, if I think that it is that.
Mm.
Yeah. So and I could sense her fear. I could sense her fear, and so when the diagnosis did come in, and yeah, you just try to. I remember us singing. I don't know if you remember, we were by some friends, and we were singing these hymns. And it's only then it dawned on me that a lot of the hymns have to do with death.
Mm.
A lot of, and I was like, no, don't let's sing this one. Let's sing another one. And they were all in some way or form comforting you for whatever you're going through.
Mm.
And what I was going through then was that. So and knowing the possible outcome to it, and then I was singing with her, and knowing that this is part of her reality, and it's comforting, but at the same time it's tough to have to face that reality.
Very much.
I was totally optimistic. I was not even entertaining the thought that her outcome would have been like the others, because I knew mom was going to fight this, and she was doing all the right things. And if anyone was going to beat this, it was going to be her. And the other thing I was hopeful about was that mom had already passed 50. All the others didn't make 50. So I was telling mom, we onto something, we can do this. We will get through this. And I remember her saying that she wanted to go to one of these lifestyle centers that I visited. I was in California for 5 months. And she wanted to go to this, either to the US or one of these lifestyle centers. and she wanted to go away to get treatment
Naturally.
because she didn't. All everybody knew chemo was not an option for her, and she was not too interested in surgery either. So we were looking at the options, and when my heart sunk was when I realized that we were not in the position financially to make that happen for her. And I think at that point, that is when like it started to sink in that there may be a possibility that this might not happen.
The way you
The way I want
envisioned
it to happen. And at that point I can remember like mentioning to mom, I said, Mom, you know what? In the end, what's really important is that you live your best life. And as soon as I said that, I noticed that mom, her demeanor changed.
She didn't want to hear that.
She never wanted us to talk that way. And she said, if we're gonna do this, we can't entertain failure.
Yeah.
So at that point, that is when I said, okay, I have to be positive. I have to be strong. We can't entertain failure because this is not going to happen. And I think at that point, I was doing it more for her than for me. But at the back of your mind, you know that this could be it.
Okay, so we were, you did mention a bit of your anticipation of what was going to happen. But maybe you can talk a bit more as to when it was really confirmed to you, how that impacted you, or your thought process, where you were, if you can remember where you were.
Yeah, I was of course preparing for my wedding. This all put kind of a gloom over that experience for me because it was first Auntie Debbie's funeral and she was supposed to actually be a part of my wedding. That didn't happen, and then hearing about mommy's diagnosis, I kind of put myself in the mental state of preparing for a positive result, but then in this case negative result, that she would have had this cancer. Just judging from the realities of what happened to all of our sisters. So my thing is, why not? Why not her? Although she had passed the 50 age mark, by which none of them were able to reach that age. She was already 55 at that point. So I thought her chances would have been better. But I started even before that because after I heard of Auntie Debbie's diagnosis, I would call mommy nearly almost every week to encourage her to go to see a doctor, to go and get checkups done, do the preventative things to so if anything happens, she could catch it on time. So, but she will say, yes, I'm okay, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. So, I couldn't be physically there because I was living in St. Martin to enforce this from happening. I kind of envisioned the same thing playing out with her. And I was wondering what could I do to prevent. So I was already trying to do that. And mom was just not willing to, she was fine. And I don't know if she was just in denial of the fact that this could be her fate,
But you know how mom is, she just doesn't like to see the doctors, and not necessarily. So that was the what I was doing. And then after the diagnosis, I just really wanted to know from her what she wanted to do at that point, because you cannot persuade mommy to do something that she does not want to do. So I was more talking, asking her, if she's about her pain, what we can do to assist her with the pain. Just trying to speak positive words and let her talk about her situation. She was quite she was not that open to talk about everything that she was experiencing. Um, I guess this is very heavy and confronting, and she's dealing with so many emotions and stuff like that. So I didn't want to wear her down with my concerns and burden her in any way. At that time, she was staying with you. So she was with family, and she had a love of family surrounding her. I think that was for me comforting and important that she was where she wanted to be at that point. Getting that diagnosis with the prognosis and everything that she went through. It was important for her to be around the persons that she loved the most.
No, definitely. I can remember that vividly, and I believe that was one of the last time that we as an entire family were together and did fun things together. I can remember her laughing very much, and that was the last time that she really had fun and laugh her heart out. It was when I think we were going for a family day. She didn't really feel like going that day to the family day. She was sick. She wasn't feeling well. But eventually we got her so far to go.
To the beach.
And then we went to the beach. And then we had different games with couples. And then we did the run.
Mom love a good race. Yes.
Mom loves
she was very athletic. When she in her young days, she was very athletic.
And she was very competitive too.
Very competitive.
And days where I believe some of us have that disposition as well. But I can remember that as well. And then you guys had the girls' race because you wanted to make sure who was the fastest. You went to beat all of y'all like you stole something.
The fastest.
Still hold the record.
But yeah, indeed, I could remember hearing her laugh. I got you now. That's mom's excitement. That was for me. That was the last time she was in good spirits. Yeah. Right, 100% good spirits and in her element.
Yeah, I can remember her because she was staying by me, and she was going through a struggle, and that is, I think, what it was the most painful for me, because I wanted to help. The nursing kick in. You want to. I knew for a fact that I couldn't offer her what came natural. In the nursing field, I know what the next step is, but she wasn't interested in what I had to offer, and I didn't know much about what she wanted at that point. So I kind of felt hopeless and like, how can I help her? And I'm supposed to be able to help her. And I can remember just looking at her. She would get up and she was go and get her walk because she know that vitamin D is important. And meal preparation, the steaming of her vegetables and those type of things. And you could see that she was like in this deep thought and with God, like struggling with God. And I think that for me, that for me was really hard, and especially because she wouldn't talk about it, because if you talk about it, you only have to bring up the positive. You cannot bring up that what happens if. She didn't want us to speak about if
that line.
Yes, it has to be
worst case scenario.
No, it had to be that when we fight this and we overcome this, is because also I guess from her experience with Daddy fighting it and getting over, she didn't see any reason why she would not.
And it's kind of different, and maybe she sends that as well, because with Daddy, we weren't trying to really have that conversation with him. And I believe it made it, Daddy would have the conversation with himself.
Exactly.
So
it's a whole different.
It's a whole total different, but Daddy was actually preparing us. If this is his time, then this is his time.
And he was actually making jokes. He was telling me, because when I remember,
I'm gonna take you
and
on
the hospital sent me back to Holland. And I remember him telling the church at that time that Rosalind came to find out which part of the will she's in. And I was like, who makes these type of jokes? But this is something that I could do, but Mommy
would never make a joke like that.
Yes. Mommy didn't think that was funny.
No. So indeed, you had really two different
approaches,
types of ways of approach that he would.
But then again, Daddy also, with his fighting spirit, he will say these things, and he wasn't consumed with it. But I can remember him saying, "It's not my time yet. Y'all think y'all gonna get rid of me. It's not my time yet."
Yeah.
So
in the same note, you know that he's going to fight this with everything. Yeah. But indeed, what you're saying, he's very light with it. And maybe it's because in the past he had to rear so many people for death, and that is something that, I don't know, that helped him along that, to speak along that way. But indeed, when he was going through it was very light.
To him, it could go both ways.
Yeah.
Willing to speak about both options. And
but with Mom, indeed, don't talk about that.
Because it's a faith. It's like a lack of faith.
Lack of faith, indeed. If you're created, when you're speaking about the worst case scenario, it would have been a lack of faith. So
which made it very difficult for us to
any preparation
to really get into her feelings. Get into how she was experiencing this.
Yes, because you're looking at her and you're seeing gradually, or not so gradually, the decline, and you want to have those precious moments, but at the same time, she don't want to go there.
No, at least not at that point.
She didn't want to have the conversation.
Let's fast forward a bit. We spoke about, she was in St. Martin. I can also remember going out for one of those walks that you were talking about, her getting her vitamin D by the basketball and going walking back and forth. I went at a time with her, and you could see in her mind she was thinking and she was contemplating. I felt so bad. The only thing you could do is hold. Yeah, you didn't know what else to do. And this is kind of strange for us, having been able to go through an experience with somebody recovered from cancer. Right? But I think all of that experience was kind of thrown out of the window because this was like a different monster. And I believe it was a different type of monster because we know the track record within that particular family.
And the same type of
and the same type. And even though we did not know the whole genetic thing and how it works, we still had a feeling like, okay, this is next level.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Before we go to how Mom ended up in Holland, how that decision went, we made mention that she's the only one that lived past 50. Speak a bit on that. Do you think she was the only one of her siblings that lived past the age of 50?
I think
or sisters, I should say, not siblings.
Yeah. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that she already started implementing the things that in her journey she was discovering. And I think she herself had questions, and that God was answering those questions for her. And that she was just building on it. So I definitely think it had everything to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Why that went the way it went. I think it was just
Yeah, I think it is also she had a different life
Mm-hmm.
than that of her sisters.
yeah, that's
The opportunities that she had, um, I mean, her sisters had really hard
nice.
life struggles.
Most of them were
They
single moms.
they were all single
Sing-
moms. Some of
Yeah.
Auntie
Except
Debbie
for
didn't
the
have
yeah
a child.
Auntie Debbie and
And Auntie Angie.
Angie.
She
Yeah.
had any kids.
They yeah.
Mhm.
But they had a tough
Life.
Their eating habits were different.
Mm-hmm.
Their spiritual life and choices were also different at certain points of their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting closer to their deaths, they would have all come back to that close relationship with God, which we are thankful for, and we have a hope. But just gauging from their lifestyle and what they went through and just comparing that with mom's. I mean, mom had difficulties too, but it wasn't as tough because I think the spiritual aspect, she had already let a lot of things and her burdens over to God.
Covering.
So that of itself gives you an advantage. Um, and the lifestyle she started eating healthier. She started implementing these reforms. So I believe that played a big role.
So would you all attribute the extra years that we got with her mom to her lifestyle? Right? And I think that is foundational for this ministry. We are thankful that lifestyle gave us some extra time with our mom. And even though we eventually we lost her, but we could have seen God in that, God's hand in that, and extending and teaching us at the same time while we're going through that process.
So on average, we had 7 additional years compared to her sisters. With their family, we had 7 additional years with her because of the choices that she made and because of God in her life.
Definitely.
So that is something to be thankful and grateful for. You know, we all know that we're living in a fallen world, this world is fallen. This is not our home. We're passing through.
Time permits, all of us will die.
You know, although we have all of these health principles intact and we do the things accordingly, we know that death.
We're all subject to death.
Yes, it's a reality. Some earlier than others. But there are definitely lessons to be learned there. Definitely we saw and we could see that there's a difference when you give your life to God.
Amen, definitely.
I think taking a closer look at it, and we know the 8 health laws. I think maybe one that wasn't paid that much attention to was the exercise aspect to it. And I can remember vividly approaching 30 and was impressed that that's a very important part of. It's not like maybe it should really be part of our lifestyle, our religion. You need to get that in because I think all of
But mom actually when she started with the reform that she made, a lot of it had to do with nutrition. So
Yeah.
she was focused on
And the
nutrition and
nutrition,
trying to
yeah.
get nutrition right.
done, yeah.
But at that time she was in Holland. I mean, vitamin D.
So
And you know, so there were certain
Supplements,
aspects that of it that was so missing.
Yeah.
And mom was not a big water drinker, and I know she,
She
loved
loved
juice.
I was a
She
juice person.
loved juice.
Yeah,
So
sure.
they-
Sugar, the juice.
Yes.
And that's one thing for persons who may have persons going through this disease. There's a
Sugar.
sugar crave.
Right.
There's a
Yeah.
sugar crave, and that it comes in the form of juice,
Mhm.
chocolate, anything sweet.
Mhm.
It's like these cancers feed on that. So
Mhm.
it will cause you to gravitate towards anything sweet.
Mhm.
But specifically for mom, that will be juice. She will go through a pack of juice.
Easily.
And
And then
I
tell you
remember
the juice finished.
I remember my brother-in-law saying, but this juice finishing. And mom used to say, yeah, that's me. I like juice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was.
But she still it will still be the natural juices. So even that you have to be careful.
yeah, they have
Yeah.
sugar.
It's not
But
juice
there's a
No,
lot
that's
that we
syrup.
have. It's a lot that we have learned since,
Since
because
then,
even the things that you were implementing, right? There were certain things that were natural things, but with the
Getting
phytoestrogens,
yeah.
we're
Okay.
still feeding, you know? So
Very, and that's something we're gonna come back to. So remind me that we need to speak about that aspect, because even though indeed they were natural things in mommy's case, some of the natural things she should not have been taking to fight this specific cancer, and those are learning curves for us because we were unaware of that. Basically, we're treating the cancer the way that using some of that, the things that used to use his method. Well, that actually did some real research on his specific cancer, which should have been a clue for us at that time. That is, so we'll get back to that. I just want us to now transition, going along. Mom was in St. Martin. How did she end up in the Netherlands?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, and that's why I'm glad I'm here at the table with my siblings.
She doesn't always remember
Because
correctly.
My siblings are my external memory. But correct me, guys, if I'm mistaken. I believe after we realized the cost involved in mom actually staying at the lifestyle center, and it's not only staying, someone would have had to go with her, accompanying her,
Yeah.
and we could not foot the bill. It was so painful. So
That hurt.
that really hurt because looking back, I think sometimes if I could have sold my house
That she didn't have?
that I didn't have, but if I could have, I would have maybe even want to take out a loan just to have her do this.
Yeah,
You know,
no, definitely.
I would have done it, but
We were not in the position.
not in the position to do it financially, and that hurt. So the next best thing we could have done was to hire someone to come and stay with her at home to take care of her instead of her going to the institution. I think that's how we ended up like making that decision for her to go back to Holland, and then had someone come and stay with her for the 6 months. That at least that's how I remember. That's how
Okay.
she ended up back.
Probably we'll
And
need the external memories to kick in right now. The external memories. How our mom ended up. Okay, I think a
Actually-
part of what you said is definitely so. So indeed, we couldn't foot the bill because we looked at the situation in Sebastian was in St. Martin. That would have been mom's preferred choice, right? She wanted to go to a lifestyle center, and get the treatment. She was all in, like, you guys get it together, I'll go. So that wasn't the issue. But now we were looking at the bills and we were scratching our head, like, how long does she need to go there? And yeah, we weren't able to.
And I think too, the devil is such a. The thing is, this happened also at moments where we were kind of caught in our life. Luetta was just planning her wedding, which is
Just got married.
yes, the financial.
I just got pregnant.
Yes, I mean Odessa was pregnant again.
I just got married.
Melissa, Junior, yeah, you just got married. So we were like at that point, even if you say,
And my wife was
squeeze
pregnant.
and put it together, we
We're
had
all
just squeezed.
starting over like a new life.
Yeah. So we
So-
had this hurdle when it came financially. So what we would have been able to gather together
No.
would not have been, and also
But doesn't mean sufficient
Yeah.
for what she wanted.
yes.
But
She
what we
needed-
could have gathered together would have come up to what Melissa mentioned, hiring someone in
Yes.
and purchasing the items for them to take care of her. That was more affordable. So that's what we ended up doing with the finances that was available.
Okay. So what did that look like? We went and we spoke to Mom about the possibilities.
Yes.
How was that conversation?
She was very disappointed.
Yes.
I think she wished she had other children. Honestly.
Yes.
She wished we had
at
spent
that
so much time in school and and invented something which we could have made this happen. Honestly, but I could see the disappointment in her face and I felt disappointed in myself. I felt like, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I really felt disappointed because she was disappointed.
Yeah, because it is for her. She thinks that would be her
Lost
best
straw.
Yes.
Lost
best
hope.
shot. Yeah,
Mhm.
and
That you
for
can't
you
offer
not,
that.
for us not to be able to offer
For
that.
her then.
That is actually you're saying that.
Why did I make all of y'all?
No,
Went through.
I really believe that she believed that was the way out for her.
Mhm.
I honestly believe that
Mm.
that was her ticket to health.
Mm,
Had she gone to a lifestyle center.
mhm.
And the reality is that even at a lifestyle center, you still have to prepare for the hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And that was definitely something that I guess if she had gone to the lifestyle center, it might have been easier for her to get to that point where she was working and doing the best and have people help her prepare for the worst. But the situation that we found ourselves in actually made it kind of harder for her to prepare for the worst because now she was in a position and she was grabbing
All
at-
over the place.
Yeah.
grabbing
Grab my
at
straws.
different ways to get.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think for that reason we need a lifestyle center to make sure that doesn't never happen to anybody else that we love and care.
Yeah. I
But
think-
also not to put lifestyle centers under the bus, because based on the knowledge that we had at that point, the cost and what was out there for us, we could not afford. In my further researches after the passing of Mom, there are lifestyle centers that will help you, and then you could have gradually paid that cost. But we were not aware or that we did not know of those lifestyle centers.
Yeah.
So
We weren't educated
weren't
enough.
prepared.
While
We
we
weren't
should
prepared.
have been based on the disposition, based on where we grew up and the environment we grew up, you would expect us to
Yeah.
have more information on lifestyle centers and health and
Yeah.
be able to father being a pastor, be able to make that connection. Reality was we were not. And that played a major role looking back. I pray that is something we can pass on to our children, that it's never going to be the case, that they do understand where they need to look for help when
the
that
options
time,
that
the
are
options that are
is
available.
an
And the
important part
prevention
of
aspect.
what we want to do and what we want to offer to persons,
Mhm.
but also worldwide. We like to also be that agent that could connect persons to other lifestyle center if they are not in the
If they're not in
zone,
Panama,
world
yeah.
zone
Mhm.
where we are, that we could work together with persons for persons to get the help that they need.
Definitely.
This is one of the things that for me came out of it,
Mhm.
and that fired me for us to start this journey and
Mhm.
really go into it
Amen.
also.
And the next aspect to it is, and I saw also after that reality was clear that going to a license center was off of the table. Um, Other opportunities slipped in, and um, I felt I don't know how correct I am, and you might never know. Um, I felt like mom felt okay. You're yourself together,
Mhm.
and I am on a serious journey,
Mhm.
and you guys.
You guys can't help me.
You can't help me. I'm on a serious journey. I'm struggling. I'm facing with life and death. I'm facing also my creator. Where am I ready to meet my creator? And I had a feeling like, okay, y'all can't even help me here. I'm not even sure y'all are where y'all need to be to help me to be
Anywhere else.
prepared for my reality. So she was trailblazing ahead of us, trying to get what she needed, and that was constantly you seeing her internalizing that, and it came out in different aspects, and we were trying to catch up, and I think at certain points I felt I failed her at because she was trying to get things done because she was ahead of us. Actually, she was ahead of us, and we were still all over the place. And she was like, you guys, this is serious stuff. Y'all in and out, but this is serious, and time is of the essence. And in her vulnerability, in her sickness, and in her weakness, there were decisions that she made that I can only account for as being in that space.
Definitely, because that is the whole reason why she wanted to go to a license center, because she wanted to have people tend to her who knew what they were doing.
Yes.
Because she knew a
Yes.
little, but
Yeah.
she knew that she didn't know
didn't
enough to
know.
help herself.
And she knew enough that
Yes.
she knew enough that we don't know.
Exactly. And she knew that we were not in the state to be
Yes.
able to help her,
Yeah.
or whatever we will help is just you read, oh, try this or try that. And
Yeah.
when you come to these type of diseases, you need to
Structural
know
approach.
what you're doing. And and that is what she was looking for. And indeed, with her decision making, that is how she ended up somewhere where she believed that particular person knew what they were doing, because she was convinced in her mind that this person worked with people before, and they knew how to set up a protocol for her to be able to manage her disease. and for her to get well, because that was her goal, getting well. And we know as a family that that did not work out the way that we had hoped, because it ended up that she was isolated from us. We were cut off.
Okay, wait. You're jumping ahead. Hold on. Um, we have to. Okay, mom made it back to Holland, and I think one of the factors was indeed that played a role was her being in a place where somebody could tend to her. But I don't think she really wanted to go back to Holland. Mom was really actually done with the Netherlands. We had to convince her to come back. To
Dad
be
was
honest,
there, and Dad wanted to take care of her.
and Dad wanted to take care of her.
And she wasn't even convinced that he could have done it either.
No, she wasn't. Yeah, but she wasn't into the whole Holland thing anymore on a general.
Yeah.
She was
But
what
I think one of the convincing factors, she needed to do some more testing, and the hospital and the insurance and the coverage in Holland, that was more a secure thing.
Yeah.
So eventually that was the choice then made, go back to the Netherlands. So she did, she came back. And then maybe I was in the Netherlands, so maybe I can talk on some of the things that now happen
Place from
that
that point.
took place on that point. So mom indeed came back. I just got married. Wife was pregnant, I believe. Yes, she was. For
The second child.
no, first.
First?
First, yeah.
Then she just
Wife, yeah. So she was, and I think that even helped her coming over because
she
was
she
excited.
exactly that excitement
excited
of the first grandchild for her son. So she came. We were in a new house in Zwijndrecht, and I could remember her indeed just looking for different opportunities and places and people that could help her. And there is where I think, she got in contact with a group of people. Within our community, there are people that carry the same message, sort of. Maybe I should just straightforward. Within the Advent movement, there are divisions, right? And there are groups that carry a similar message, but there are still big major differences. So mom got involved in a group that knew a lot about health. At least they knew more than us at that time. And that intrigued her because she felt that's what we were supposed to be doing. And and these people were ahead of us. So and then we are ourselves calling ourselves the real carrier of these truths, while she's seeing that these people have maybe the books, have the knowledge, know about the herbs, and she knew this person for years actually, not from close, but she knew that this is some things that they have been involved in. So there is where she started to now converse, talk, and now this person started to tell her a bit as to what they could do, and the whole positiveness, like only the good things that she wanted to hear, she was hearing now from these people. And I think that is something that helped create that gap, because they were actually promising her she's going to be healed, or this whole faith thing. Just have faith, and I feel she felt that she needed to still, her relationship with God still needed to come to a next level
to be able to get that
healing. And that played a role in her whole mindset. And at that time, us not knowing what we needed to do did not play well and did not play favorable for us to have her
Support.
mom and
Support.
support her. So what happened eventually?
We did brainstorm and think about another option, but she chose specifically to she chose those persons to go to for help.
Yeah.
That was after we had done the 6 month in house. Then is when she
No.
No.
We were exploring that possibility, and that's actually with Susani. We were exploring that possibility for it to be done, because this is someone that was already a medical missionary, and she
And
would
a
have been
friend
able to
of mom.
come in and do that, but
She was elsewhere.
somehow, yeah, she wasn't readily
On a
available.
case,
Yeah.
She was gonna finalize what she was doing and then come. But remember, as Odessa mentioned earlier, mom was fast tracking. She was literally wanted things happening and now, if not plan B, plan C,
By
plan. Yes.
Yeah, and we cannot blame her for that, because of course the time was
Of
she
essence.
knows
Yes.
she knows what she's
And
going
she's feeling
through, and
it in
she's
her
feeling-
body that this thing
Yes.
is taking
Taking
a
over,
control
yeah.
about her, of her, yeah, rather. Maybe I can speak a little about what was going through, because there's some stories in between the story. Because indeed, this was in Holland when mom came back, young family, wife pregnant. I was working and I was trying to finish off my school. So I was in my last year of my bachelor's, and then mom being sick. So that was all kind of things happening at the same time. Um, I could remember why I'm bringing this up is because it was an experience that I had with her that really hurt me, and I still feel so it hurts. I don't know if I shared this with you guys, but um, I was graduating, so I was just finishing off my studies, and it was different than all the other graduation because I was doing it part time. So in the evening, I went to school. So the graduation ceremony was a bit more personal, and there was a time that we were supposed to be there at that graduation ceremony. And mom was very excited. Oh no. Yeah, I finally am done with that. I'm about to have a child, and we were going to it, but she could not find clothes to fit. And I don't know if you guys know about mom. She's very particular of her look.
Mom could dress.
Yes, so she was looking around to find something to fit, but she had lost so much weight already that she wasn't finding anything. And then eventually that caused us to be late for the ceremony. And basically when I came there, there was nobody there. I hardly got in. And she felt so bad that she started to cry. And that made me feel bad because she could see on my face I was a bit upset because we were late. And she was, Judy, I'm sorry. And I'm so sorry that I even had her feel that I was disappointed because she did not need that extra. She just needed it could have been light. I'm happy afterward it did become light. We took pictures and we went and we ate somewhere and it was all good, but it was just something that it's always here with me.
You guys make me go again.
But yeah, so she was really going through so much different things at the same time, and all of us were going through so many different things at the same time. But at that point, she lost a lot of weight. She met indeed this group of people, and it wasn't fun because now you're seeking. So looking at these people like, okay, they're trying to help you. and which that may have been the intention,
I think their
and
intentions
and
were
the intentions were probably good, but how the way it was being done was kind of an issue for us because mom was being pulled and being isolated. So she's in Holland, but now she's spending time at a different place in where you're not constantly with her, you're not seeing the development. And then on top of that, she's making decisions that have to do more spiritual decisions because this is I can just say it is a reform movement within the Seventh Adventist Church, and where they felt like, okay, you have to now be rebaptized or recommit in this movement for you to be saved. And this is now things that are starting to play a role in her mind from, okay, I need to do this, and this is probably going to be the next determining factor for her now to be healed. And I can remember because she made a decision to be rebaptized in that group, which was a very difficult thing. But she made mention when she was baptized or being rebaptized that she felt that she was healed. She made mention of that. So there's where you can see that what played a role in her whole thought process. And I think what we can learn from that is that when people are in a weakened position, they need stability. They cannot be going from here to there to all over the place, and especially if you don't know, if you can offer that stability, they will look at the place where they can find that stability.
Especially with her mentality, because she was not willing to accept defeat. And wherever she could get that positive, hope, that's what she clung on to, like clinging on to straw. Just out of what we call in Dutch one hope. So out of desperation, because she did not see a way out otherwise.
I think
She
because
really had faith that the choice that she made to join this group and to do this regime and whatever it is that they were offering, that would have bring her healing.
I think because she made that connection of her sickness being because of a lack of
Actually,
some faith-based thing and not being just a genetic
scientific
biological
So she really made that
consequence.
connection in her mind. So everything that was feeding that, she
hold on
to.
And I think
it made it difficult to
And it was a genuine fear that she had. So everything that motivated her from that point was a fear that of what happened to her sisters, what happened to her. And if she does not follow through with this, there is no hope for her. So and at that point it was very difficult for us as children to connect and to speak to her, to have her consider other options, because this was it for her. She really had clinged on to the hope that this group was offering. And that was very, very difficult because at the point I was in St. Martin and I was trying to contact my mom. I would try several times, but then you will hear someone else pick up on the phone, which is supposed to be her phone. And the same excuse will be that she's sleeping or she's not available or she's in therapy or something. So I never really, for weeks on an end, I did not get to actually speak to mom or to see her, which was very painful. It was very hurtful, and we didn't know actually what was happening. We were left in the dark. So that was horrible, as horrifying. I don't really know how I got through it. I think Just speaking of it, I think there was a period where, as my sister mentioned, that you just numb out
Mm.
because it's just unheard of,
Yeah.
and it was not
And
really in the
the days are
character
just
of my
going by.
mom to go along with
Mhm.
this type of thing. So
Yeah.
it was really, I just thought that she was being manipulated.
Yeah.
And she, in her mind, she is doing this to recover
To
health,
recover,
and
to
then
be
she's
back.
gonna tell you, you see, this is what I have to do, and we are seeing, we are losing days.
Yeah.
We are seeing that we are losing
Because
precious
pressure
time
on
that she could be with us.
And she's now with someone else.
Yeah.
And you can imagine, you guys who were abroad, I was in country, and knowing your mom, because of that, and you were there, and she's like over there, and you don't want to force her because of that stress.
Yeah.
You don't want to manage that stress as well, but it was also very stressful for dad because obviously he wants his wife to be close by. And this has been a learning experience because for me as well, in the sense that I think what mom was seeing is we are supposed to speak of a certain message or live a certain message, which when she looked around in the community, she wasn't seeing it. So she was reading a lot of books. She read a lot of health books, counsels and diets, different health books that she was into. There's a very good book called The Broken Blueprint, and those are the things. She was medical missionary manual. So those are the things mom was reading at that time, and that she was really into, which was good, but she wasn't seeing us living that message. And now she came across a group that basically have the same similar beliefs, but then also connected with this core beliefs, but that connected with this health message, practical part, even though it wasn't set up in like in an organization. It was done from a home, from this system and that system, but that was the best thing around. And I believe we would have, if we were able to get her to a lifestyle center, we would not have need to go through that stress and in that situation. However, looking back, God knows best that we probably needed that situation to be able to talk about it now, and help us
to start this really with the passion that
we have.
The thing is, and this is a disclaimer for anyone following this movement that we are referring to. This is our experience. This is how we have experienced the final days of our mom's life. And maybe this group has a different experience as to how events went. But based on what we have experienced with our mom, this is from our point of view. So please do not take it as trying to demean a certain group and their beliefs. But we are just saying this just to this is a learning tool for anyone that has to go through these type of things. If you prepare and you have a plan and you educate yourself properly and you have those opportunities available now to you, do that. Start to do the research, do what you need to do to get things moving in action, because things happen very fast, very swiftly. And at a certain time, I felt like I was out of control, like everything was moving fast, and mommy was deteriorating fast, and it's like, you're losing the battle, that you're just out of control, and you're not getting through to the one that you love, to wake them up, like, this what you're doing, you're kind of wasting time here when we could do something else. just the whole confusion with all that happened.
And it's
If we had a better foundation and a better
Yes.
structure, we would have known.
And it
would
is
have done
very
better.
important,
Mm.
no matter where or what route someone takes, to
Mhm.
have the support of the family
family,
members.
yes.
And that is something that is important that you encourage. And I think that is where our frustration lied with this whole process, is that it had seemed to us that we were being cut off. And we knew that that's not a good
could
thing.
never
That could
be a
never
good
be a
thing.
good thing if
Yeah.
we are not being included, if we are not able to understand, okay, what is she doing? What is the routine? What are your goals? Are you achieving your goals?
Just the involvement with the family and the therapy.
yes. So
That
yes,
was not
it was not there.
Yeah.
Another thing that is noteworthy is this is the reason why the medical missionary is the right arm, because wherever persons can find that need met,
Relief.
relief,
Mm-hmm.
they are willing to open to the God of where that relief comes from. And the devil knows it, but it's a God principle. And because we weren't prepared, or we weren't prepared to send her to a facility like that, we weren't prepared to do it ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of, the
Lost
ball
that
got dropped,
battle,
yeah,
yeah.
dropped.
Yeah, and indeed, and I think that is a driving factor for us right now. We mentioned that before, to have not find yourself in that same position ever again, and also be able to help others not be in that same position. One, through education. And preparation, but also too by having a lifestyle center that meets the criteria, the things that we would have loved to have for our mom, right? And so I think that is a very important aspect as to why we're doing what we're doing. Why? And a lot of people ask, how you guys are on the same page? They rarely see siblings, all five, and their spouses involved in one and the same thing. Well, experiences like this, that is what gets you. It gets you focused and gets you on track and in looking in the same direction, because we know what we experience. we know, and the persons we married to know what we experience. So that's why we are able to be on this journey in trying to get this thing going, because we know what a blessing it can be to so many lives. So that is a very important aspect and driving factor, so that you guys know that as well. I just want to talk a little bit more about then mom in the last stage. So we spoke about, indeed, she went back to Holland. She got involved in a group. I just mentioned the reform movement. They brought her. They tried to help her, and again, as I reiterate, I believe it was sincere. They tried whatever they had, but the approach we didn't feel was proper and the right way. After, how did mom come back is the important question. Because after being there, after she was baptized, now, rebaptized, or however you would put it, she went back. She got worse. And actually, what happened is that they were afraid that she needed to go to the hospital. She was afraid that she would maybe die on their hands or on their watch. She was bleeding. And that is something that eventually we were called now to come and get her. And that was a painful thing, because obviously right now they're scratching their head, because if she passes in their house and they know they did not have our support and we don't know what they were doing, that would have obviously been an issue.
problem.
And we need to reiterate, huh? This was our mother was lucid, and she was well in her right mind when she took decisions to be at this particular place.
Definitely.
Right? There's nothing that none of us could have done to convince her otherwise. And this is a principle is although painful, God goes through that with us, where
You have to respect the choices.
we have to respect person's choices, and although it's your mom,
Mhm.
although it's your child, once they're an adult, there are certain decisions that they take that you have to respect. Although we're trying to break through these barriers to get to her, she was fighting for her life, and that's all was her focus. She was fighting for her life. We could not assist her. These people could have assisted her. So just would like to clarify that for the viewers, that sometimes you are placed in situations that
In
is
a rock
very,
and a hard
very
place.
difficult, and that you just have to respect person's choices.
No, definitely. So that was respect, even though we did not like it, and we felt at times that we did not want to respect the choices, especially when you feel like, hey, these are the last part and moment that you get to spend with your loved ones.
And I think what was harder for us, because we were a close knit family, and we could not imagine that this would be her wish. And because we weren't, the communications were being shut down, we kind of felt like it